Each week, American History TV's American Artifacts takes viewers into archives, museums, and historic sites from around the country. Next, a visit to Yorba Linda, California, and the birthplace home of President Richard Nixon. Docent Darlene Skye gave American History TV a tour of the house that rests on the ground of the Richard Nixon Presidential Library and Museum. The 37th president was born there in 1913, and he was laid to rest near the house in 1994.
Welcome to Richard Nixon's Presidential Museum. It really is an honor having you here today, and most fortunate to be able to share with you where our 37th President of the United States, Richard Milhouse Nixon, was born. And so if you look behind me, you can see this wonderful house. This is the birthplace of President Nixon. I'm very excited and pleased to tell you that the most often asked question I get out here, has the house ever been moved? And no, it's never been moved. It's always been on the spot. It's actually a kit house. And please use your imagination for a moment, because let's go back to 1912. In 1912, Frank and Hannah Nixon arrived in this area. And believe it or not, there was only 200 people in population in Yorba Linda. Now there is thousands. But if you look around, you can see how beautiful the grounds are here today. In 1912, there was plenty of lemons and orange groves, and Frank and Hannah Nixon arrived here and said, what a great place to raise a family. So Frank Nixon literally went through a catalog, and it wasn't a Sears Roebuck catalog, and it wasn't a Montgomery Ward catalog. We still don't know the identification of the manufacturer of this wonderful house, but we know that it was a kit house. So he actually took his horse and buggy and drove it to the train station. And there's actually a section of the train still there on Imperial Highway that you can see. Frank Nixon brought these boxes and crates back to this Yorba Linda site, and he built this wonderful house. And as you can see, as I mentioned to you, it's never been moved. What an American dream. As you look around to see that the Milhouse Nixon family came to this area to raise a family. So 300 orange trees and 300 lemon trees were planted by Frank Nixon, but they did struggle financially. And Hannah Nixon would actually walk to a packing house. There was 2 packing houses here in Yorba Linda, and to help with the income, she actually would go pack lemons. She would walk over there, and remember, there was no concrete and there was no cement. It was lots of dirt, lots of mud sometimes, but she would walk there and put lemons into a crate. You may find it interesting to know that President Nixon, as a small child, would attend the Yorba Linda Elementary School, and he was barefoot. There's a picture in the reader board. You may find that kind of silly, but it's cute to see that in the reader board in front of the classmates. The picture, you'll see him with no shoes, barefoot. So that's probably how he went to school. He did plan his funeral when he passed away in 1994 of April, and I wanted to share with you something quite interesting from the funeral, that he wanted his casket placed in front of the birthplace. And see how magnificent view that was, and that shows you how important the birthplace was to President Nixon.
Today, in this service, we remember with gratitude his life, his accomplishments, and we give thanks to God for those things he did to make our world a better place.
Over 50,000 people attended his funeral to pay their last respects to him. As you see, Reverend Billy Graham is giving the eulogy. And for those of you who are very interested in history, and I know how magnificent this is a wonderful opportunity for you to see the first time and the only time in the history of our country that 5 presidents and 5 first ladies attended President Nixon's funeral.
You can watch American Artifacts and other American History TV programs anytime by visiting our website, cspan.org/history.